Hey everybody, wanted to do a quick video today on another video request that came forward. So thanks again for bringing those forward because like we've talked about before, if you're interested in the topic, then it probably rings true to quite a few other folks out there. So this one is from Joanna Crispin. So thanks, Joanna, for forwarding this, and thanks for your lovely comments about the support that you felt you had when you accessed this site. That's fantastic. I love hearing that, and I hope that it resonates with you going forward as well. So this topic is regarding university or college and issues with how to navigate group work, presentations, basically things that are more extroverted and social situations that can be really draining. And a side caveat I love is that she's also a sociology major. So that's good because there's only a couple of us. So just getting into it, Joanna wanted to speak to how I navigated my time as a student. So I'll speak a little bit to that and then also get into more a little bit about some potential tips that I see now, years and years later, about that might have been of help for me. Some that I might have done intuitively back then, but also that now looking back might be of value. So First off, I totally get it when it comes to the group work thing. I think I've spoken high level about that type of the presentation type of situation that life kind of throws at you in your careers and also in university. So that's a good point. When you ask about the group work type of thing, I will tell you right away, that one did cause me extreme anxiety, and to be honest, I looked for all of my courses to have no group work as part of it. And the rationale behind it is twofold. So Joanna mentions in her video request how the frustration or trying to control a group situation, and I'm just trying to summarize here, but because you are reliant on 4 strangers or however many in order to that will impact the rest of your life, because usually group work, they end up giving you a large percentage of your grade based on it. And so it's frustrating for us because if we're taking school seriously and 3 strangers or 4 strangers are the basically the roadblock on whether or not you're going to succeed in a course, it's frustrating because we hold ourselves to a certain standard, and we having to rely on other people to also live up to whatever standard that we've decided to set for ourselves for this can be very exhausting. So the 2 things that come to my mind when I think about group work that's difficult is the fact that you're dealing with the strangers, but you're also dealing with trying to organize, these other people's times. So all of you have to go back and forth and basically waste time, inefficiency at its core, trying to herd cats and make sure that you can come up with a time to meet. And in that meeting, you probably have just a lot of, talking back and forth. Nothing's really getting done. And you are thinking, wow, I could have been spending another 3 hours at studying or going to the pub with my friends, anything else than wasting time with strangers. So that comes to my mind. Also, the exhaustion that is coming, that you have to, again, be a contributing member of a group that is not your doing, and worse, if you have to go and find people to do group work with, that's also daunting because we're outside our comfort zone. We don't want to go and walk up to strangers and say, hey, let's go work together. So there's a lot of things where the control that we crave is basically getting threatened. And I totally understand those feelings. That's where my head was at with the experiences. The one thing that is interesting, though, is it does, looking at it from the context where I'm at right now, the group work actually is helpful in the future, because as you grow into your career, you're going to be doing a lot of, say, cold calls, where you're going to go and talk to people that you've never talked before, and you're trying to get in and have some sort of end result that is successful for your career. Or you have to have meetings where you're walking into a meeting where you don't know anyone, and you have to provide your own context or work with them to solve a problem. So it is an interesting, important part of going on in the future. But when it's coming to building your grades, I feel that it's definitely a roadblock for a lot of us. Definitely was for me. So getting to that, like I said, I would try and dodge anyone or any class that had group work. However, some you can't get around. They're part of your core courses. You have to deal with it. And that's difficult. So what I found that was helpful was I actually started to build some relationships with my professors. And nowadays there's more openness about talking about things like anxiety and barriers for you, and reminding the professors that the extroverts aren't the only ones in the social space, and we want to make sure that everyone's included in, make sure they have the best chance of success. So talking to professors, it's amazing how they are a lot more open than you usually think, especially when you take the time to go and speak to them one-on-one. The other piece too is balancing group work with a lot of alone time. The feeling of being able to just recharge for a little bit and recharge until you feel that you are not, you're able to cope with more of these group interactions without having increasing anxiety. That I felt was a huge help in being able to balance. Back then, I didn't know what that was. I just knew I had to be alone. There was no name for it, no INTJ at that time for me. So that was more just I had to do it. My gut was telling me I had to do it. But and now that people are more having tools in their toolkit about this, knowing that that is important for you is, I feel, super helpful in moving forward through this short time in your life and having these conditions put on you in order to achieve your goal. So the other thing too I wanted to quickly just mention was the mentioning of Joanna with the point of everyone else in a group project is making or is being part of what your final mark is. And it bothered me too. If it is the case that you end up where you have a group where there's a ton of extroverts and you are not finding that the group consensus is what you were initially interested in doing for your project. And the thing is with groups, you kind of go with the majority, right? So you might not be able to have the caliber that you were wanting for that project. But again, professors always know that this is part of the group dynamic for when they request projects. So also being able to put forward after you do present your project that you are able to have maybe a write-up after to the professor speaking to this was what was happening, and not to throw anyone under the bus. It's not a he said, she said, but in your perspective, you would have liked to see this or something like that. And through group consensus, this is the path we went to. So hopefully that helps. It was a little bit wordy, but no, I totally hear you. That is a tough thing to deal with your life writing on it. So hope that helps. And like always, if anyone has any video requests, just make sure to put it at the beginning of your comment. Thanks so much.